The word examination and test are used interchangeably in most cases, but usually we use the word exams to refer to the summative assessment. This is the assessment which is done at the end of the study period. And we mostly use the word test to refer to the short-term assessments, like the continuous assessment test, maybe at the end of a topic or at the end of a term or a semester. Now, the first important test taking tip is prepare well for a test or exam. That is the most important thing for you to do well in a test or an exam. As I said in my previous videos, learning is a process, not an event. Therefore, for you to grasp the information and store it in the long-term memory, you have to do the learning bit by bit. You should not wait till the exam or the test is announced and you start now revising and wanting to read all the materials which you have covered. By doing that, you will not be able to perform well in the test. Another tip is start with the hard questions but quickly jump to the easy ones. Now, this is an important approach during the test. When you are given the test paper, the first thing which you need to do is to scan through the paper. Go through all the questions in the examination paper and see which are the easy questions and which are the hard questions. Those challenging questions are the ones you should start with. By starting with the hard question, it will enable you to load those hard questions into your memory, and it will allow your diffused mode of thinking to scan your long-term memory and retrieve the information related to that particular question or to those hard questions. But another important thing which you should put in consideration is when you get stuck while tackling these hard questions, you should not waste your time. You should quickly jump to the easy questions and tackle them because examination is time bound. There is time limit. Therefore, by wasting a lot of time tackling these hard questions, which you are not sure of, you will waste a lot of the time and you will not be able even to answer the easy questions. Therefore, the best approach is to jump around the difficult and the easy questions. You try answering the difficult question. If you get stuck, go to the easy question. And while you are doing the easy question, the information related to the hard question may come into your mind. You go back to the hard question and try to answer it. Another tip is have a positive mindset about the test to avoid stress and anxiety during the test. Mindset is everything. For you to be successful in anything, it depends on your mindset. If you have a positive mindset, you will be successful. This is the same case with the test or exams. If you are positive that you are going to do well in a test or in an exam, it will help you reduce the stress and the anxiety which come with the test or exams. You should not tell yourself, I fear this test, I fear this exam, I may fail in this test, or I may fail in this exam. Tell yourself, this test or this exam is an opportunity for me to do well. By having that positive mindset, you will reduce the stress and the anxiety, and you will be able to do the test in a relaxed manner and perform well in that particular test or exam. Another tip is to avoid panic and anxiety. Relax your stomach, place your hands on it, and slowly draw a deep breath. Now, this is a strategy. There are those people who usually panic when there is a test or an exam. Now, to avoid this panicking situation, what you can do is you can practice this breathing strategy. You relax your stomach. After relaxing your stomach, you place your hands on it. Then you slowly draw a deep breath. You breathe in slowly. Then you breathe out 3 to 4 times. And you should not do this during the test or the exam time. You should practice this before, because practice makes perfect. Therefore, by practicing this before the test or the exam, when you apply it during the test or the exam, it will help you relieve the anxiety during the test. Another tip is cover up the answers to multiple choice questions and try to recall the information. When you are doing a multiple choice test, one of the good strategies is to cover up the answers to the questions. Read the question and try to come up with the answer as per the information which you have learned. Then when you come up with the answer, now you can open the choices and see which is the correct choice. By doing that, it will be easier for you to come up with the correct answer and to tackle the question successfully. Another tip is face your fears. This is very important. Most of us go to a test or to an exam with a lot of fear that the exam may be difficult, I may fail in this exam. Now you need to face your fears. You need to have a plan B for alternative careers. Failing a test or an exam is not the end of life. There are so many alternatives. There are so many people who are successful and they did not do so well in tests or exams at school. Therefore, you should not have fear. You should face your fears. By facing your fears, it will also help you to reduce the anxiety and the stress during the test or the examination. And by being relaxed, you will be able to answer or to tackle the questions in the test or in the exam and do very well and get your option A career which you wanted to do by doing well in the examination. Therefore, it is always good to have a plan B and face your fears. Another tip is the day before a test, have a quick final look over the materials to brush up on them. This is very important. You have already prepared all through. That is the number one tip which I told you. Learning is a process. You have been preparing all through. Now, the day before the test or the exam, it is good to brush over the materials which you have learned. This will help your long-term memory or your diffused mode of thinking and your focused mode of thinking to be refreshed. And during the test day, it will be easier for you to retrieve the information which you require to answer the questions very fast. Another important tip is double check your answers. This is very important actually. Double checking your answer is very important. Some students, maybe you have prepared well, you have answered the questions very fast, and before the time ends, you are already done with your test or your exam, and you have some time left. Therefore, do not rush to hand over your test paper to the teacher or the person who is invigilating or supervising the exam. It is good to go through your answers. You might have made some silly mistakes or you might have made some errors while answering the questions. Now, by going through your answers and double checking, you will be able to identify these silly errors and correct them. But if you don't do that, you may be surprised when the results are out. You may think that you have done well, but because of some silly mistakes or some silly errors, they costed you and you are not able to do well. Therefore, it is always good to double check your answers. Another tip is get a reasonable night's sleep before the test. And this can only happen if you have prepared well in advance. Therefore, when the test approaches, you will not be in a panicky situation or you will not be worried. Only those people who do not prepare well and they wait till a test or an exam is announced are the ones who usually transnight to try and cover all the materials which they have learned. And during the test day, they have not slept well, they are sleepy, their minds cannot function properly, and they end up failing in the tests or the exams. Therefore, for you to do well during the test, it is very important to have a very good night's sleep. By sleeping, your brain will be cleaned. All the things which are not okay, like it is like a form of detoxification. The sleep detoxify your mind, and during the test day, you will go into the test room to tackle the test with a fresh mind, and you will be able to recall most of the information which you learned, and this will enable you to perform well during the test. Now, these are some of the examination tips which, when you put into consideration, you'll be able to do well. Thank you very much. If you find this information to be useful, kindly like, share, and subscribe. Thank you and see you in our next lesson.